which I do feel like we do a good job of that. Like I feel like we have a nice healthy balance. I feel like there's times where we definitely lack.
We slip.
For sure.
It's convenience today.
Yeah.
That's why people will take 40 or 50 grand less, because they don't want showings. They don't want people inside their house. They don't want to paint. They don't want to clean. They don't want to fix. They don't want to do repairs. And sometimes they don't want their neighbors to know. They don't want their family to know. Who wants to chase around contractors like, hey, you promised me you'd come out and paint this. Hey, you promised me you'd do that. Like, nobody wants to do that.
But if you do it, kill them with kindness.
Last week we were talking about agents. Who do we bring on? Agents off the street, experienced agents. And we ran out of time talking about retention. So today we're going to talk about agent retention. How do you keep people excited? How do you keep them happy? And, where do you focus your attention? And most of the time, I think what I've learned is most businesses, or most leaders, if you will, focus their attention on people that don't know what they're doing, or people that want an award letting you know, like, hey, I'm doing something, right? Like they're reaching out like, hey, Adam, I made a call. Hey, Adam, I got a listing appointment. Hey, Adam. They're just looking for that cookie, if you will, right?
The attention.
Yep. So you can always tell when they're lacking attention. But I think, like I said, most of the time you end up spending all of your time on the wrong folks, right? You assume vets want to be left alone, or a producer doesn't want to be heard from. And it's the exact opposite of that.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, even a client of mine kind of reminded me of that too, because he's in the car business, and same thing applies with them, where it's not always just a slap on the, say, hey, good job. It's a little bit more than that too, which I do feel like we do a good job of that. Like I feel like we have a nice healthy balance. I feel like there's times where we definitely lack.
We slip.
For sure. But it's I think for us too is just always trying to focus on the personal side of it too, because I think the thing that we've experienced is, like, let's say some of our vet agents is they all have these ups and downs, and just really checking in with them of, okay, you're down right now, but also helping them analyze why they're down, like helping them, okay, how was your last 60 days? Yep. What was going on? And a lot of times it is personal stuff.
Totally.
And helping them understand, like, okay, this is where I'm at. I've accepted that. And it kind of helps with, like, a little bit of anxiety that might come with that too, I think. And then, okay, you've acknowledged that, that's that. And now we know what it's going to take to move forward, which is sometimes hard.
It's not easy.
Because now you got to create all this momentum back up. And once you stop the momentum, getting it started back up again.
It's like going upwards on a hill.
Yeah.
It's friggin' hard.
Yeah, it is hard. For sure.
And I think the other thing we've seen is that a lot of people will just hide, right? They'll go into a dark place, or they'll go into a corner, and
they're shut down by fear.
Yeah, they'll shut down by fear, and they just don't do anything. And it ends up getting worse and worse and worse. It's like, oh, if I don't leave the house, no one's going to, my problems are going to solve themselves, and it ends up compounding it to be a bigger deal than it is.
Yeah. I think the exciting thing for me on that is, like, as we were bringing on new agents, I feel like we did talk about this last week a little bit, so I apologize, but is now these new agents are coming on, and, like, we have standards for them.
Yeah.
Like, we don't make it a universal standards for everyone. Like, as the new people we bring on, like, here
it's harder and harder.
Yeah, we make it harder, which I feel like it makes you a stronger agent. Exactly. And I do believe they're going to thank us for that later on.
Yep.
But now some of these vet agents see that, and they're like, oh my gosh, like, so-and-so just joined the team, and they're already at X volume in production. Like, what are they doing that I'm not doing? And then they start looking at themselves to analyze, like, what do I need to do to get to that level?
Yep.
And I mean, I look, that's an exciting thing, because it's ever changing, and you have to evolve a little bit too.
You always got to adapt and change. It depends on the market or what's going on in the community, or you got lawsuits going on, right, with buyer's compensation. So there's always something impacting your business. And there's always outside factors, obviously, right? Like this year we have politics going on, and then every year there'll be something going on. But I think when it comes to agent retention, I think it's just a matter of, like you said earlier, it's focusing on the personal side. I think most people lack that, or at least we forget to do that. It's like, hey, you haven't had a sale in 35 days. But what does that actually mean? Do you only care if they sell? That doesn't make any sense, right? Like, so it's And sometimes that's hard for someone to open up to you because you think, oh, like they can trust me, I can trust them. But it's very difficult for somebody to say, hey, actually, I'm struggling in my marriage and I've been sleeping on the couch for 2 weeks, or I haven't been seeing my kids, or I just found out my spouse is cheating. That's not easy for them to open up.
Yeah.
But unless we get them to open up, we can't help them.
Yeah. I think also too, like with us, like, I don't know if you've noticed this, but there's always someone like in the leadership team that one of them will open up to us.
Yeah.
They don't open up to all of us.
Yeah.
It's more, and then like there's things that that I don't know,
Yep.
vice versa. And then definitely there's things that Janelle knows that we don't know.
Exactly.
I mean, we just learned something last week on an agent on our team, and we're like, oh, wow, like I had no idea, but they wanted it that way.
Yeah.
Like they could open up to Janelle and she knew what was going on. And, and then she'll tell us, like, she won't tell us what's going on. She's like, hey, let's just leave them alone for a little bit. They have this stuff going on. And Janelle,
Give them some grace.
yeah, same thing, us back to her or you back to her. That I get. I think going in deep on the personal stuff is a big thing for us. Because the other thing too, that I think there's no new, like, as an agent, there's really, like, there's always training that you should be doing. You should always try to grow and fine tune your skills, right?
Yep.
But there's normally, like, an agent that's been in this for a few years, there's normally nothing like super crazy new, like that's going to be the magic pill to get them to the next thing. Really what they need is just accountability.
Totally.
Like that's it, like a nurturing accountability. There's nothing new. It's just fine tuning the things and it adapting a little bit, but it's not like huge like things. It's just little, like, what does Sheplak say? The little hinges swing the big doors.
Yep.
And the more we can get that into everyone, I feel like it does make really big impact. But most just need accountability. I know I need it.
Yeah, we all need it.
I overcomplicate things just on, like, you look at my phone in my notes section and I'm constantly taking notes on things I need to do, whether it's personal. Most of the time it's like some sort of a real estate opportunity, whether it's like an investment opportunity or a potential listing opportunity. I don't want to forget. I go back to it. But that can be like, that can almost shut you down too, because
Totally.
it's overwhelming. And then you're like, am I going back and doing that? So I think having a good structure and being held accountable to, like, okay, from this time to this time during these days, I'm going to do these activities, get caught up on those opportunities too.
Yep. I think it's like, if you break it into smaller segments, it really helps instead of it being overwhelming, right? It's like, another thing to think about is, like, when somebody jumps into real estate, there is 1,000 ways they can earn money, right? And normally what happens is they drown themselves in opportunity because they're not taking advantage of a few things, right?
Yeah.
Like, they're like, well, if I post on social media and then I do amazing videos and then I do 400 open houses and then I cold call everyone, but then I got to go to every conference, but then I want to advertise on a soccer team, and then I want to, and next thing you know, it's like, well,
You didn't go deep with any of it.
You didn't go deep with anything, right?
Yeah,
you ended up doing nothing.
Yeah, you went really wide and not deep.
Exactly. So I think why that kind of makes sense for retention is because sometimes even like a veteran agent, and it doesn't always have to be an agent, but even somebody that's been doing it for 3 or 4 years in their craft, they start to cut corners.
Mm-hmm.
And what happens is they think that you know what, I had 100 sales, you know what, I might be able to meet less people or maybe skip a step, or now I can actually preconceive and I can judge somebody and go, hey, you know what, they're not that serious in buying a house.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, and you just said something too that I think is another thing too that I find interesting right now is you can't do the same things that worked for you last year and the previous year to get the same results. Like, if you have a really good system in place, that's awesome. But also, if you want to do the same production or beat last year's production, you have to do more. Like, you have to do, maybe it's 25% more or 50% more.
And most people don't like hearing that.
Yeah, you have to put in more work, period. I mean, with higher interest rates, and people aren't moving out of pleasure, they're moving out of because they have to.
Necessity. And then there's less new construction, right? Less inventory.
Yep. Yeah, so you definitely, that's, to me, that's where, like, some of these veteran agents, myself included, just, we have to turn on the jets and we have to be putting more into. But we need to be reminded of that. And that's where the accountability piece. And that's where I feel like there's no new shiny object that we're necessarily going to give you. Yes, we have leads. We do have a lot of training. We probably have the best tools in not only in our marketplace, but also in the nation.
Yep.
Because we're always, like, as a team, we're always looking at the new greatest tools for sure. So we're always looking at that, but we don't necessarily need them to do that. We need them to just focus on the things that we know they need to do to get to their level, because we have plenty of leads for them to call.
It's staying in front of your lane, or staying in your lane, excuse me, is probably the right thing. Is like, let me focus, or Adrian focus, or whatever. But like today we met with homes.com, right? Like, they're kind of the new player in the space, if you will, because they have bought in and they've tried to change the way
they're spending a lot of money on advertising to get up there.
Spending a ton of money right now. And now they're meeting with realtors all over the country, and they're trying to convince you, like, hey, if we can get realtors to love our app, then they'll talk to clients and they'll get clients to use our app. And then if they can advertise and clients see it as a way to go on there, then it's going to be a win-win, right? But if a real estate agent met with the new player in town, they would be busy every day, because there's a new player in town for everything, for leads, for social media manager, for photography, for videos, for 3D, for podcasts. Like, there's always somebody trying to sell you something.
Yeah. Well, and that when I first started, I fell into that, and I was actually with a coach, and I'm not going to say who, but next thing I know, I'm like, I signed up for every single shiny object that I possibly could. And then you fast forward a year or 2 years, and you're like, wow, I'm spending more money than I'm bringing in. I'm not in a good financial spot right now. And you get in trouble. Yeah. You know, and I was definitely there. So learning to say no and stay in your lane, I think, is very important.
It is. It's huge. And I think again, like, to help, this all comes full circle with retention, because the more you can point out to your realtors or employees or whoever, but the more you can point out to your realtors, like, hey, this is something you need to not focus on. I mean, we have agents all the time that are like, hey, I want to do some cool marketing thing, and I want to invest in this cool camera that does all kinds of weird stuff. And it's like, okay, but does it actually produce money?
Yeah.
Right? Because what would produce you money is if you got in front of 3 more people today. Yeah. That's going to earn you money. Where if you spend 2.5 weeks learning this new program,
that may or may not work.
And just because it's cool today, it's going to change tomorrow.
Yeah.
But I think it is difficult. Like you said, most people are trying to figure out how I can work less but earn more money, right? Like, that's always a sexy, cool, hot topic. But in real estate, the last 2 years, it's you got to work 25 or 50% more than you did last year to get the same income.
Yeah.
Which is scary.
Mm-hmm. And then when you're doing that too, or we're pushing that, you provide better customer service.
Yeah.
Because you're not chasing all these other things, and it comes across to your clients, and then you get more referrals, and that's good, you know?
Yep.
Yeah, the shiny object thing, that's definitely, I don't see that going away, unfortunately, anytime soon, of agents always wanting to chase that too.
Well, and it doesn't help that there's fear out there too. You know, I mean, the Department of Justice just came out and said that they want to look at compensation, and specifically they want to figure out compensation will actually lower the cost of inventory on houses, which is crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, that makes no sense, but I know that's
the rational thought on all that, I think, is insanity.
It's crazy to me, because it's like, you have a 30-year loan on a house you're going to have to pay every single month. So if you want to figure out your mortgage payment is $3,000 a month, let's say, and I want to try to get it down to $2,000 or $1,800 or something more reasonable, the commission is a one-time purchase or a one-time debit, not 30 years.
Yeah.
So that doesn't make any sense. But anyway, my point is, like, the Department of Justice made that comment, and then I got 5 emails that day that had the shiny object. Hey, have you heard this? Well, guess what? We sell this. Guess what? We sell this. And next thing you know, we were solicited all kinds of products that's going to be saving the country in case the Department of Justice changes the rules in real estate.
Uh-huh.
So, it's just kind of bizarre.
The other thing on retention, I think, is it's probably more of my passion than anything is, we're in real estate. So why not go deep with real estate investments?
Yeah.
And that's, I think, kind of the cool, exciting thing. And we've been doing that for what? Well, we've really been doing the whole iBuy opportunities for the last 4 years, I would say.
Maybe 3.5.
And so number one, I mean, the thing that we do is we offer to purchase clients' homes, essentially. Yep. We do it we market it to where we are, hey, we're not only a real estate team, we can also offer this as an example. And I think what really got me was I was on a listing appointment 8-9 years ago, and I was there and we were talking through things, and he goes, Adam, I think I'm going to, those guys that send out those letters, or you see those signs that say we buy houses cash? I'm like, yeah. And he goes, I think I'm going to sell it to them. And I'm thinking, his name was Brian. I'm like, but Brian, like, you realize, and he told me the number. I'm like, I can net you literally like 30,000 more, put in your pocket, and that's with you paying me my commission. And he's like, yeah, I get that, but it's easy, it's convenient.
Yeah.
And I think that's what really clicked. And then I'm like, gosh, it took me a while to like really jump on board to doing it, because there is as a real estate agent, you want to make sure you're doing the very best for your client. And fast forward, we started offering, it's like, hey, this is what we'll list your house for. Here's what you'll net, because you're going to pay commission.
You guys were really upfront about it. There's a difference there, Adam. I want you to explain that. Like, there's people that will literally go in and steal the house from them.
Yeah,
and
totally.
mislead them.
Yeah, we kind of take the Walmart
not
approach, where we're not coming in and buying it at near as much of a discount as like those other companies, I would say, just because we care about our reputation, and we'll always look out for that, because we don't want people to think like, what the heck, you stole this house from us, and then they see like what we go resell it for. Now we flip it, we put money into it, and Stacy has a really good system for that, which is a whole nother business essentially.
And you guys are really upfront about the fair offer.
Yeah, and so that's really, but I've noticed it's never people that are like the folks that we're buying these houses from. It's never folks that are like, oh my gosh, I have to get this sold. Like, they're not in financial trouble.
No,
I can't remember the last time we bought a house where they were in a bad financial situation.
Yep.
And it's people that want like, hey, I don't really care about the money. I care about my time.
Yep.
Like, they want the convenience. And I do think this has become a big thing, especially in our marketplace. It's a big thing across the whole country, but it's just people want the ease of it. They want the convenience. They want the cash as is. They pick the closing day. I'm doing one right now where I'm actually closing on Thursday, and they're doing it's an older couple. They're like, hey, we don't want to deal with home ownership, but we're cool renting. Like, what about you buying it from us and then you play the landlord?
Wow.
And so I have a rental agreement with them for the next 3 years past closing date, and it's open-ended. Like, hey, you guys need another 2 years past that? Let's do it. No big deal. And I'm going to keep it. I'm not going to go resell it. It's going to be in my rental portfolio. And so again, we do it to, again, a convenience factor for clients. And that was like that 9 year ago listing, like, gosh, why I should consider doing this.
Yep.
Like, why should I miss out on these opportunities? But also, why not just have a one-stop shop where you can come to us and say, hey, let's talk about us listing it as is. Let's talk about listing it if we were to do this, this, and this to increase your value to get maximum price. And that's really how sellers put the most in their pocket. Or the last option, which we put at the bottom of the totem pole of their options.
Totally.
The last option is we come step in and purchase it. And here's the price. There is price differences between all those options.
And you guys are always upfront about, this price is what we would sell it for. This is what you'd make if I listed it.
Yep.
And they're very transparent on what they're all going to be doing to it, right? Like, it's super transparent. I think that's huge, because like, I know they've changed the laws in Nebraska now. It's a little bit different. You have to be licensed, but the wholesalers, normally they run into troubles because they try to buy it at bottom dollar, and it's misleading, and they take advantage of people. And you are the complete opposite, and our entire team is complete opposite. You guys are very upfront about the pricing model, but I think the easiest way to think about it is, I could drive to Starbucks and get a coffee. I could get it delivered to me for triple the price, and people get it delivered.
Yep.
And it's the same with food. I could go to a restaurant and get the food, or I could get it delivered to me for twice the amount. And what's insane to me is, people will get food and drinks delivered to themselves for double or triple the price, which is why I'm telling you, it's convenience today.
Yeah.
That's why people will take 40 or 50 grand less, because they don't want showings. They don't want people inside their house. They don't want to paint. They don't want to clean. They don't want to fix. They don't want to do repairs. And sometimes they don't want their neighbors to know. They don't want their family to know.
Yeah. I think what makes us successful on the flipping side is Stacy's my wife. She's basically the GC on these, and she has a really good group of contractors that she's working with.
A good crew.
And literally, some of them have not taken any other jobs in the last 4 years. They pretty much just exclusively work for us. And that's, I know, extremely helpful, because if someone, I think that the normal everyday person goes out there and says, okay, I'm going to do these things, we'll guide them and we'll tell them what they can do and what they should do, and even like who they should call, who not to call, that sort of stuff. But when you take on a full project and you got to do everything, we can generally knock that out in like 2-3 months. Or I think the average consumer if they were to do what we do, it's going to take them like 9 months, because they're dealing with we just have a really good system. It flows really good. And our contractors are really reactive to us because we pay our bills to them on time.
Yep.
Like we don't wait the 30 plus days. Like they're getting paid literally sometimes ahead of time or the day of that they're getting paid. And there's not like this delay. And so that's part of it. So not only can we get it done probably cheaper. Now our flip costs have gone up by almost double compared to what it was like 4 years ago because of inflation.
The trades have
the per hour work and all that has gone up for sure. So it's cost us quite a bit more to flip or to renovate a house compared to 4 years ago for sure. But we can still get it done in a much more timely manner. And I would assume in a much more cost effective way because we're kind of doing this in bulk. Essentially. So that's what kind of sets us apart on being able to do what we do. And then buyers will come in and they'll pay a premium for a totally redone house. And we're not like Band-Aiding stuff. We're like redoing it the right way per code and all that. And that's why
you guys build, I would say you guys, not to stop you, but I feel like you build and flip, if you will, like you would live in it.
Oh yeah, totally.
There's a huge difference there.
Yeah. And the other thing too, and then we'll get into why this relates to retention too.
We're going to come full circle on it.
The other thing I found, and this was brought to my attention by an agent on our team's husband, and he was like, he believes the reason why it's because a lot of times when the general public picks up the phone, and if it's like a smaller job, getting those contractors to call you back to do those smaller jobs is really difficult.
They will not take you serious and will never meet you.
And then he brought up another point that I thought was really interesting. I'm like, gosh, there's probably a ton of truth to that. Like when a contractor does a job for us, they're not necessarily getting the callbacks. Like we will have them go back and like, hey, we want this done a little different, that a little different, but that's fine. But it's pretty quick and Stacy's on it and gets them to do that really quickly. But again, we're doing this at scale. They know like the
next job and the next job. They don't want to screw that up.
Or if it's a one-off client, they're like, a lot of times that client is nitpicking things so much to where it probably might not matter. Or it does it, they're nitpicking on things where it shouldn't.
Which will piss the contractor off.
Yeah, and then you kind of give the contractor a bad taste, and then they're like, we don't want to deal with that. Like, we would rather just deal with someone that knows this world, and it's repetitive, and it's not like this one-off. They like to see the opportunity for the other deals that are going to be happening in the pipeline. So it's like we're a lead for them.
Exactly.
But it's a recurring lead. We're the one-off client. So you got the one-off client issue where, gosh, it's a smaller job. Do I really want to do this? Or should I just focus on the other ones that are going to for sure repeat so they won't get the callbacks? And then also, or they won't get the recurring business, and then also the callbacks is, gosh, like how I think they just have in their head too. And when I think about it, even when our contractors, they will call, say, hey, someone wants us to do a job, like we really don't want to do it unless you really want us to. So there's a lot of times like, hey guys, can you help us out? It's a client of ours or stuff like that. And so, but they always call us first and say, hey, and we're like, yeah, just if you can, it helps us out because it's helping out our clients. But I do find like that is very interesting on that. So by us doing this and us doing this the last 4 years, we've opened it up to our agents on our team. And that's, I think, the exciting part. So we've shown them kind of like a pathway of how they can do it and what we do. So, and sometimes when you're an agent, you want to just start, like we encourage them, like just jump into it. Like just jump in. Like you can overanalyze something to death where you don't do anything. Okay, cool. We've jumped into it. And we've learned along the way.
Through your mistakes, you've learned through your mistakes what not to do, and you can give them a playbook. And say, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. And it shaves off years of their bad habits.
But we are encouraging them. So a lot of agents on the team are like, okay, I should look into buying a rental, or I should look into buying an investment property. And so there are a lot of agents on our team that are starting to do that and get into it. And then what we do too.
Well, and it's cool. It's trendy. It's hot. It's on TikTok.
It's the new sexy thing to get in there and like maybe it's flip a house or something. And and they can see like the before and after even of what Stacy does to after what the house looks like. And there's normally a pretty big change. I mean, again, we're not just doing light fixtures and paint. It's like full on.
Well, and there's a lot to be said, Adam, on it's like you said. I mean, if like, let's just say I watch HGTV and I want to flip a house and I'm like, oh, whatever. I want to flip a house. It's easy, right? Like it's no big deal. I make the call. I might get this property, more than likely not, because you have stiff competition. And what time it hits the market, you're not getting that house, right? So you got to try to get a house before it's on the market. But anyway, let's say I call and try to get the house. I get the house. And then I try to call a contractor. They won't return my call. They don't know who I am. And let's say they do return my call. I'm not going to pay them on time. I'm going to make up excuses or try to find financing to like pay them in the future.
Yeah.
So like you said, it's going to take me, instead of 60 days with you, it's going to take me 9 months or a year. And I'm going to breaking even with taxes and everything. And I'll let you talk about the retention side for realtors. But I think it's such a massive added value that you and Stacy provide, where it's like, let's just say myself, if I wanted to go do it, it would take me so long, I would not make nearly as much. And the amount of stress that Stacy puts on herself, where it's like, oh, what should I paint this? What should I do with this? This fixer, this. There's so many things with flips where you just would start to be overwhelmed.
Yeah, well, and we don't do any of the work ourselves, none of it.
Yep.
There's zero work that we do or she does. Like, so our opinion is too, like, hey, if you're going to do this and you want to do it on your own,
You're prepared to pay for it.
Well, yeah, don't go into it like, oh, I'm going to do this work,
Yeah.
because then factor out the per hour costs, what's your time worth, and then it takes away from you prospecting to go grow your business. Like, we are totally against that. Like, we want you, like, hey, if you're going to do this, do it, but do it in a way where you're going to be able to hire all the work done.
Yep.
And so then that way you can focus on your clients, focus on building your business, your real estate business, because that is always the number one priority.
That's how you pay for these things.
Yeah. And also you don't get in this situation where you're like, oh my gosh, I'm 3 months in, I can't even see the light at the end of the tunnel and then my real estate business has suffered. And we've seen that too.
We've seen that a ton from everybody that we brought in at some point. Not saying that's bad, but at some point, every agent you brought on, if you will, to do a flip has taken a back seat with their own personal production.
Yeah.
Because they're not prospecting. And what they start doing is they start getting excited, which we all do. And they send you a house and they go, well, should we buy this house? Should we buy this house? Should we buy this house? And it's next thing you know, they're spending all this time calculating all this profit supposedly they can make, and they're not prospecting.
Yeah. And that can be distracting too. Yeah. So that's, and back to like my comment too, like when you're doing it yourself, like someone could argue like, well, then they learn the way of how to do it and how to set it up the next time, which again, I'm against that, but that's my opinion. So like our model with our agents is, because we've done this now with a handful of agents on the team.
Probably eight people at least.
Yeah. Is my mindset is, hey, like we open it up. So like we'll partner with anyone. You bring us a flip, and Stacy and I believe it's a good flip. Like initially when we first started off is we funded it. We funded the whole thing. And then we split it with them 50-50.
Yep.
So it was a really good deal for them. And, fast forward, we've changed things a little bit, but it's a partnership that we enter into with them. And we don't always set up a corporation right away. We want to see like how many we're going to do, how we like partnering with them, that sort of stuff. But
then it becomes a nightmare tax season when you have
like
75 tax
30 LLCs or something, and which we're already there. But so with that, so yeah, we bring agents in, we give them the opportunity, and then we have a whole nother lead source for our iBuys.
Yep.
And so we have brought in certain agents, and how we select those is basically, if you're an agent on our team and we can see that you are putting in the work to be a good, successful agent, that's number one. Like you have to be, well, you won't even be on our team if we don't feel like you're morally, ethically sound.
Exactly.
But we have to make sure, like, okay, we have to trust that you can put in the work to grow your real estate business.
You won't get distracted with this.
Correct. Like, so a lot of people, if they have the intention, like, okay, I'm going to join their team mainly because I want to get in the flips. Well, you got to prove yourself first.
And we don't allow that.
It's
and
probably,
people ask all the time.
Yeah, they do ask. It's like, hey,
and I'm like, no.
Like if there's an agent that we just brought in, we're going to start, we have been looking at deals. We've been writing offers. And that's the other thing too. You might write 10 offers and you might get one.
Totally.
So there's a lot of rejection, which is fine. That's part of it. And because we feel like, hey, you can go make more money, sell it to someone else. We encourage you to do that.
Absolutely.
Like we would rather have you do that because again, we don't want that coming back on us on our.
I think the reputation's everything.
Yeah.
One negative Google review, we have 1,600 reviews, and that would be such a black eye in our business if you did.
Yeah. So what we do is like, hey, if you come on and you've proven yourself, and generally that takes a good year.
Yeah.
Like,
sometimes two.
Yeah. Sometimes two. You've proven yourself. Like, okay, he has good client reputation. He has good review. Yeah, he or she. has good client reputation. They have built a good business. They are producing,
Yep.
and they are responsible. They're respectable. It's someone that Stacy, because Stacy will then be communicating with them. It's someone that Stacy feels good on.
Yep.
Okay, I can trust them. They're not going to be coming in and like if someone comes and is like, hey, I want to do this, this, and this. Well, just let us do our system the way we're doing it.
Yep.
Because we know what works and we have a good track record.
Not that you won't share the process. It's
Oh,
not
we
like,
share the process for
sure.
sure. But we don't necessarily want you coming in and trying to change
Reinvent the wheel,
Yeah,
yeah.
reinvent the wheel. Hey, we already know what we're doing. We have a
Exactly.
good track record. And we do this so then that way you as the agent can focus on working on building your own business.
Exactly.
Continuously working on that. And that's actually been a really good system for us because it's a great income. Like there's an agent on our team. They just went and bought a new house. And I truly believe like they were able to go buy their dream house, their dream situation because of the investments we've been doing with them over the last few years. And I love that. Like if I can help them build their net worth, like that is a huge passion of mine. Is you will never get filthy rich selling real estate. Never. You'll never grow this huge net worth because a lot of times you're spending just as much money that's coming in
To acquire the clients.
to acquire the client.
Yep.
Time, energy, and effort. So, hey, let's look at building a rental portfolio. Let's look at doing flips. And that's really where I see that really grown. It's already grown over the last few years, and I just see it we just added a couple more, and I just see that keep growing. And to me, that's probably one of the biggest retention tools is for our agents is, hey, you're on and you've proven yourself. This is where the next step is to help you grow net worth wise.
Exactly.
And that is like the exciting part of like what we have to offer. So not only is it a good client option for a quick, easy cash as is sale, but also it's a great way for our agents to obtain a good rental for a portfolio, or maybe we turn it into a flip too.
Well, and the other thing is there's been times where, and I know I can think of 5 or 6 times where clients were going to move into a house, but they couldn't sell their house. And they're going to lose their dream house. So you came in and bought the house for them.
Yeah, we've done that a number of times.
And that literally saves people's, lives, because it sounds weird, but it's like this is their dream house and they're going to lose it because they can't sell their house for whatever reason. Their house was listed and it fell apart or whatever. And you've come in and bought the house for cash and taken it off their hands and then rented it back to the client.
Yeah,
So
we rent it back, and then once they move out, generally on those, we just turn those into rentals. We go in there, clean it up, and then we turn it into a rental. That's what most of them have turned into. But again, then I pick up a real estate asset, and so to me, I look at it as a win-win.
And you have the client that's really excited. The realtor's excited because again, they still have a deal on the table. Everyone's getting it full circle, but so that's unique. And Adam's always been upfront with it. Like, we don't make money running a team. It sounds bizarre. We don't make money running a team, but why Adam runs a team is because of the production and the careers that he's seen with real estate agents. He sees somebody starts with sometimes little to nothing or big aspirations and dreams. So he helps shape and mold them into this massive real estate career and good income. And then the next thing was like, okay, now we got really good agents producing, but there's always a reason why somebody will leave. And normally we're always upfront with people. You can get a better deal somewhere else. There's always brokerages and real estate teams that will give you 5% more, 10% more, right? Like, but Adam's been very upfront.
Or can they go do it on their own?
Exactly. Go do it on their own. So Adam was like thinking like, what else could I do to keep these people, around me and engaged? Because we develop strong foundations with these people, but we don't want to hold them back. But this is a way we can help grow their net worth. And that 5 or 10% they would have got somewhere else, they no longer worry about.
It blows past that 5 or 10% for sure.
Way past.
So to recap, the things that we feel help us with retention is the getting deep with them on personal levels.
That's huge.
Nurturing them essentially through, and that's through accountability. That's just holding them accountable to the things that they feel will help them succeed.
And you ask them, what is it that you want to accomplish? How can I help you get there? And usually, just a small example is, I want to sell 42 houses, and let's say I want you to hold me accountable to do 1 open house a weekend. Perfect. So then it's, okay, remember, you wanted to sell 42 houses, Adam. Did you do an open house this weekend? No. Okay. Yeah. Well, remember, I'm checking in with you because so we're never telling people what to do.
Yeah.
We're asking them.
Yeah.
So
sometimes they need a little help of like, hey, what are some of the things we should focus on? Sure. We help them formulate a plan with that. So again, accountability, and then the sexy thing with the retention that we do is now going into the investment side of it.
Exactly.
Is helping them acquire an investment property, whether that's going to be a rental. There's some that do Airbnbs, which we don't do that, just mainly because we feel like it would just take too much of our time. That's our opinion, and just evolving into, again, building portfolio, doing the flip thing, and making some nice money there.
Yep.
And again, and every agent on our team knows, like, hey, I can get there, because they see some of these newer agents now, or agents that have only been on for a few years that aren't jumping on, and they're seeing that, they're like, wow, like, and we share the success that we've had, like the numbers that went into it and that sort of stuff too. So that's that's probably that's it for retention for us and what we do to help our agents there.
Totally.
So
yeah, so it's just we try to make sure it's like staying on top of your people, making them feel supported. That only goes so far. But this avenue that you've unlocked with flips and with net worth is it's definitely been awesome. I mean, it's been great. So it's been great to see people jumping in and seeing that there's a whole nother avenue. And so again, there's no secret sauce on retention. There's no like, oh my gosh, they're doing this one thing that nobody else is doing. I feel so confident that we are reaching out to brokerages and teams all over the country. And I'm trying to figure out what it is that the next shiny thing is, so then I can make sure either we're going to have it in our portfolio for our
You're
agents.
looking at the shiny things.
Either I'm going to stop it, I'm going to get ahead of it, and that way we can get agents to focus. But there's no like secret sauce, if you will. But what I was going to say is by talking to these other teams and brokerages, what I've learned is we're all doing the same thing, and there isn't something that somebody's missing on that other side.
Yeah, that's normal little tweaks.
Yeah.
I would say definitely a podcast topic should be in the coming weeks would be going deeper with the instant offer for clients and for the public, because that has definitely been something that I see that being a bigger trend, and the convenience factor of it. And a lot of the successes I've had, and I check in with all those folks. I mean, to me now, they're a past client of mine.
Yeah, of course.
And I'll straight up ask them, like, do you ever regret doing it the way you did it? Like, heck no. Like, that was like, I have not yet had a bad review of, dang it, I wish I would have done what you did to it and do it. Every single one of them so far, like, I am so glad that is done. And, again, 'cause sometimes we'll take houses that most of them they're dated and they're rough and they need a lot of things. They need a lot of love, basically. Yeah, not enough financial stress. Just like, we've been here for 30 years. We don't have the energy to go do this.
We're ready to cash out, if you will, and retire and enjoy ourselves. And let's be honest, who wants to run around and chase contractors? And a lot of the times they use a different part of their brain. I've realized is these people are focused with their hands and their trade, and they forget to call people back. So it's who wants to
Most contractors are not good salespeople or business people.
Exactly.
They're really good at their trade, and that's it.
Yep, exactly. So it's like, who wants to chase around contractors? Like, hey, you promised me you'd come out and paint this. Hey, you promised me you'd do that. Like, nobody wants to do that.
But if you do it, kill them with kindness. That is that's where Stacy wins. Is she's like this. Now with me, she's like this fierce tigress, or lioness, whatever. But she's the hunter, right? But with her contractors, she is kills them with kindness. She's genuine with it. So if you ever do decide to do it on your own, killing them with kindness versus anger and rage, generally you will not get very far, because most contractors, we've also realized, have a lot of pride and ego.
Oh, totally.
And you have to nurture that pride and ego. So anyway, that's it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. And if you guys have any like questions on this, or you want us to go deeper, let us know. We'd love to, because again, it's kind of just scratching the surface. I do feel like we can go really deep with a lot of the, I'll call it iBuy is a term. If you guys go Google it, you'll figure out that term. So anyway, thank you guys.
Thanks, everybody.